I went to Disney California Adventure for the first time without emetophobia. So there was a lot of this, a lot of that, some of this.
Oh my gosh.
But most importantly, a lot of this. Now, I'm going to share my thought process with you because this is one of the bigger adventures I have been on since recently overcoming emetophobia. Now, when I went in there, I did create a little bit of anxiety because I was just so used to always creating the same kind of anxiety, and this was a whole new adventure. However, the way that I managed it was significantly different than anything I had ever done before. Before, when I did have emetophobia, my first instinct was always to just run away. Even if I would have paid parking, ticket, anything, I would have just said, okay, you know what, I can't do this, I'm gonna go home. The difference this time was just, okay, what do I need to do to just remain calm and gain some perspective? So instead of taking the tram, I decided to walk through downtown Disney to get to the park and repeat to myself the same things that would bring me back to reality, that I'm okay, nothing outside can actually make me feel anything, I'm just creating this anxiety because I'm not used to being here, and that was just the thought process. And that was really it, because I knew that anxiety is not bad, and anxiety is just an uncomfortable feeling. That's all it really is. So out of habit, I would create it to protect myself, and now it's just, okay, anxiety, I hear you, but I don't need you right now, so I'm gonna go keep walking and get to the park because that's what I came here to do. When I got inside the park, everything was amazing. It was like I had never left that place. And the thing is that before, when I did used to go to the parks, because I used to have annual passes, I felt that I always needed to be in control. So I always had to drive there. If I went with my mom, then I would have to be sure that I was feeling okay. I would actively be suppressing anxiety in order for me to not feel it. And now when I was there, I was just, okay, I'm gonna be here and I'm going to enjoy myself. So when we went in, we saw a ton of characters, we were taking a bunch of pictures, and then finally we decided we're going to go on the Cars ride. I can never say the title because it's like a tongue twister. So I'm just gonna say it's the Cars ride. So when we got there, not even once did I have a thought, okay, maybe I don't wanna be here, and you know, what if it's fast? What if I start feeling anxious and sick, or I see somebody sick coming out, like anything like that. Those thoughts did not cross my mind whatsoever because I was so confident that I would be able to go and complete the task, which was to go, get on the ride, enjoy the ride, and come back out. It didn't matter how I came back out. Now, I had not been on this ride for a long time. I think I only went on it one time, and that's because I really had to gather up the courage as much as I could to get on this ride. And that was years ago, probably over 5 years ago. And anytime after that, when I would try to get on that ride, I would go, and then I would just walk right across the little car and say, okay, I'll see you outside. And I just wouldn't get on that ride. Anything that was more than the allotted time that I said that I could be trapped, I would not get on those rides. But this time, it was different. Like, I think I was just kind of having like a little bit of a flashback and so much gratefulness about how incredible the experience was. And that's because I was in control of me, and that's all I needed to do. I didn't need to sit there and suppress anxiety or anything. My only focus was to get in the car and enjoy my time. I knew what that ride was like, but I didn't remember the exact track or the speed or anything. So as soon as it took off at the end with the race, it was such a surprise, but it was so much fun. My adrenaline was rushing, and the only thought that crossed my mind about emetophobia was just like, oh well, like seriously, oh well. Like it's I can't really think of anything else that I can actually describe it as besides just, so what if I feel sick? So what if somebody else does? It's because my belief about being sick is not catastrophic anymore. Now it's just like a thing that can happen throughout life. So when we got off that ride, I was like, oh my gosh, that was so much fun. I wanted to get on it again, but we made our way to another ride. Actually, I just remembered, we went on the web slingers first, and then we went on the Cars ride. I had no idea what the web slingers was like. I just knew that it was like Toy Story Mania, which is the screen, and you kind of get taken around, and you have to shoot webs and that kind of thing. And it was really cool. We all went as single riders because it was kind of a lot of time to wait for it. And I didn't even think about, okay, I'm not going to be with people I know. Like, there was no social anxiety that I created. I didn't create any of that. It was just, okay, whatever happens, happens. I'm here to have fun. That is my only focus. And my mind was able to do that because it's capable. Like, anybody's mind is capable. After that, we made our way around the park. So we just made our way, I think, to the pier. and my little niece, she saw the Silly Symphony swings, and she said, "Oh, that's so cool, I want to get on those." And I said, let's go get on it. And so the three of us, my cousin, her daughter, and I did. My mom and my aunt didn't want to go, so they went to go sit somewhere and relax. And not even a thought, it was like, I saw the Silly Symphony swings. It's a spinning ride. You can't go anywhere if it's spinning. You can't even think about doing the unthinkable from that ride. So when I saw the Silly Symphony swings, it was just, oh my gosh, I used to love that ride as a kid. I want to go back on the Silly Symphony swings. I know it's so much fun. And there was not even a single thought of, what if I get sick? What if somebody else gets sick? None of that. I was actually impressed as well. I figured I would probably create like a little bit of anxiety over it, but it was just that belief there that if there was any sort of sickness going on, that new belief that it was gonna be okay was so strong, and that's really what drove me the whole time. So we got in line. The line was like 5 minutes long, and we got on it, and immediately as soon as we went up, it was a rush. That ride is crazy. I probably won't get on it again because my adult brain probably can't handle it as much as the little kid can. I got really dizzy, and when I got out of it, I had a headache. But here's the thing. If I still had emetophobia, guaranteed I would say, I need to go home or sit down for the rest of the day. But after that, I walked out kind of like crazy. And even my niece and my cousin were just like, oh, that was so crazy. And so we just went back and we found my mom, and I just sat down in the shade. I hydrated, I had lunch, and that was really it. I had a headache for a little while, but I did take some Advil because it was going to be hot, or I thought it was going to be hot, and I know that I could get like a heat migraine kind of situation. It didn't work, but it didn't spoil the fun because I was still getting on rides and I was still walking around and laughing like crazy. And before, I would just be so hyper fixated on the fact that, oh, I have a headache, and you know, what if it turns into a migraine? What if it turns into this and that? And it was none of that. It was, like I said, I was so impressed with myself. So it was none of that at all. So we did that, and that was really the thought process for the rest of the day. Now, when it came down to food, it felt like I was eating at home for the most part. I even got food there that I didn't know how it was prepared. I didn't know who touched it or anything. It was just like, hey, give me some tacos and and the plate with beans and rice, and that was it. Snacked quite a bit, grabbed some coffee as well. That was really how the whole day went. My mom and my aunt and my niece went on Soarin', and then I took my cousin with me to the Hollywood area. We got on Monsters Inc. We hung out in the Disney animation studio. Here's another thing, that because I would also create a lot of social anxiety when I had emetophobia. So because it was just going to be my cousin and I for about like an hour or so while they got on Soarin', one of the thoughts that I did have was, okay, I'm gonna be here by myself. If something happens, she's gonna be there with me. But that was it. It wasn't like, okay, I need to run away. I need to think of an escape plan so she won't see me, or so I can run away by myself. It was just, oh, well, she'll take care of me, it'll be fine. And that was it. And that was also something that we had discussed prior. She said, if you ever, do feel anxious or anything, I'm gonna be there with you. And the thing is that the reality of when somebody is sick, most of the time, people are going to be concerned and want to help. So that social anxiety that people with emetophobia develop, and that I used to do as well, it's also a defense thing. So we create anxiety about building social anxiety about what are people going to think, what are they going to say, or look at me, it's gonna make it worse, it's gonna make me feel more anxious and stuff. But all of those things come from within us. It has nothing to do with my cousin being next to me or the crowd watching me or anything like that, because most of the time, nobody is looking at you. Maybe just passing by and they forget about you within 5 seconds, but that's just a normal thing. Even I would glance at people when I would walk by. People glance at me when they walk by. It's just a normal human thing. So that was my thought process then. And so since she had never been to Disney California, she asked, where are we gonna go sit down? And I said, okay, I have a great place. So we were gonna go to Disney Animation Academy, not studio. We went on Monsters Inc. in the meantime, and it was great. It was a really great time. And even though I did build some anxiety at the beginning, the focus was that I got through it, that I am capable, and that I had an absolute amazing time. The real difference here that I noticed was that because I knew that I didn't have emetophobia, I was still trying to make it a great day for myself. And that's just like the perfectionism talking that's still there a little bit. It didn't take away from how amazing it was. And then before, when I did have emetophobia, I would feel so in control and say I could do absolutely anything except get on that ride and that ride and that ride and eat that and eat that. So was I really in control? I was trying to be in control of everything else except for myself. And then I wouldn't have a great time because it was 90% actually being there and 10% trying to suppress anxiety, but telling myself I'm actually having a great time. So the thinking process this time was just that I didn't hyperfixate on the fact that I still created some anxiety. It was just a thing that I did, and so what? The point was that I actually really got through it. And that proves, and that is evidence that for the next time that I'm in a crowd, that I go to a theme park, that I go on a fast ride, that I get on a plane or anything like that, that's the evidence that I am fully capable, and that if I do create anxiety, that I am able to keep calm. And I am able to bring myself back to reality and gain perspective. So that way I can see that I am having a great time and really enjoy it. So that was a day in the life at Disney California Adventure as an ex-emetophobe. I hope you gained something from this and you can see that you truly can overcome emetophobia. So leave a comment below if you have any questions for me, like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video showing you what my life is now like without emetophobia.